Hi guys, welcome back to the Stay at Home Daughter podcast. I'm your host Elizabeth Ann, and this is one of my good friends, Allie White.
Hello, everyone.
She's joining us today to kind of do a sort of post-grad episode, but also social media, blogging. I think you're like my very first blogger friend I ever had.
Yes, yes, I think so too.
So kind of give us an elevator pitch, what you do.
Yes, guys. So I just recently graduated in August from Columbus State University, and I studied marketing and business there. I'm also moving to Las Vegas in 2023, so that's an exciting life update. And right now, I'm just kind of navigating post-grad life, and I love to read. I've read 155 books this year, so that's a
Oh
little
my
bit hinged.
gosh.
Yes, but love to read, just really navigating, like you said, post grad life, and it's been a fun time. So,
Yeah, okay. So every week I do the high and the low of the week.
yes,
Uh, wait, no, that's not right. I wrote that last night and I was like, that doesn't seem right. No, I do my three favorite things from the week.
yes. Do you want
So
me to go
if
first, or do you
yeah,
want to
you
go
go ahead, go first.
Okay, so I guess three things. And none of them have really happened yet, but my dad's coming home from Vegas to visit tomorrow. Excited to see him because I haven't seen him in a few weeks. And my brother also got picked for an all-state, all-star football game. So I'm going to that tomorrow in Macon, and I'm also judging for DECA tomorrow. So that's
Oh, you've got an exciting weekend coming up.
yes, that's always exciting because I grew up in DECA, so it's weird being on the other side of it.
Yeah,
But it's also fun because I get to see my visor and everything. So
that's so exciting.
yes.
My three favorite things this week. Well, I've been walking, like getting back into my fitness grind over the past like month. But this past week, I've walked at the state park at Lake Blackshear with my
Oh,
dad like every
fun.
night or every day. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm going on my very first like adult cousins trip to
Oh,
Atlanta. That is gonna be tomorrow. We're leaving tomorrow morning, and then I can't really say what it is, but I got a job interview with something I'm really excited about.
that's
So
exciting. We love to hear it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's exciting updates.
yes. So every week I read a quote. I asked you if you wanted to share. Do you have one you want to share?
I do. I
I'll
do.
let you go ahead first.
Yeah, so I actually got it on the Instagram page We the Urban. I love
Mhm.
their content so much. It says spend more time around people who uplift you and enjoy your authentic self. And I really like that because I feel like when you're around people who really just celebrate like your normal self and who you are, you feel better. And that's kind of a current theme that I'm going through right now in life, like just being around people that actually want to be around me and love me. So that's really fun. I really like that quote.
I love that quote. It's very important. You just feel so much better whenever you're surrounded by people who genuinely support you instead of maybe just being like, oh, yeah, that's good, I guess, for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, Let me pull mine up. Mine is from Pinterest,
Oh, we love Pinterest.
and it's sort of about the way things happen. So, I don't think that anything happens by coincidence. No one is here by accident. Everyone who crosses our path has a message for us, otherwise, they would have been taking another path or left earlier or later. The fact that these people are here means they are here for some reason. And the writer is James Redfield.
Oh, that's a good
So, I
quote.
love that.
Very
Yeah,
good for us right now.
I
Oh
know.
my goodness.
So I guess we'll just kind of get into it. Like I said, Allie is my OG blog friend. So we've had like a lot of discussions. But I guess kind of just tell us how you got into blogging in the first place.
Yes, so I feel like I've always been a creator. I've always created content. I used to do it more on my like personal Instagram, but
Mhm.
when I moved to Columbus, I was like, I kind of need to do something new. So I started Grown Up Girl Life, which was my old blog. And that was just like such an exciting time for me because it was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And then this year, actually, I deleted that account. And people always ask me, like, do you regret doing that? Why did you do it? And I honestly felt like we're kind of going into it right now, but
Yeah.
I felt like I was sharing like every single detail of my life,
Mhm.
and there was like no privacy. Like I had friends who wouldn't even like text me or reach out because they just knew everything that was going on with me.
Yeah.
So kind of like taking a step back from that and just like not sharing every detail of my life has been really good for me this year. And I'm just now starting to get back into content creation, and like I kind of switched roles and did different things and stuff this year
Yeah.
because I felt like with Grown Up Girl Life, I was just creating content that I thought would do well or what other people wanted. And now it's more authentic content. And you played a big role in that because I love your TikTok. It's just like so real. Like you could just tell you actually enjoy like what you're posting. And
Mhm.
so that's kind of what I've moved towards this year.
That's amazing. That's so crazy because I was gonna say you've inspired me too to kind of find
Oh,
a more balance because I
yeah.
also feel like I share everything. Not that that's really changed because I still do that a lot, but there are some things that I want to sort of separate myself because I feel like with TikTok, it's very in the moment and like whatever I feel, I'm like, okay, I'll just post this.
Yes.
And I don't really think about not really the reaction, but who's gonna see it and what's gonna happen from
Yeah.
that. And I feel the same way. I feel like a lot of my friends are just like, "Oh, we saw what she was doing today. That must be like what she's up to." And I almost feel like I have become so like introverted, not really because I'm a very extroverted person, but
Yeah.
introverted in the sense that I've kind of distanced myself from a lot of people because I'm so like involved doing everything else and I just don't make the time for that. So,
Yes. I
yeah.
feel exactly that way. Like this year, I feel like I only talked to like two people.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's good in some ways. In some ways, I kind of miss like sharing every single detail. But I think like in therapy, like my therapist is like, you don't have to share every single update. Like
Yes.
everybody needs to know everything.
Yes.
So that's been a healthy balance for me.
That's amazing. So how do you feel it's sort of, I know you kind of talked about it, but how do you feel, I guess in general, your blogging style has changed since you first started? Um, do you think there's, which I know we're going to talk about this a little later in the marketing era, but do you think there's been a lot of change with what you have to do as a blogger now versus what you started doing?
Yes. So when I started, I feel like it was very much like curated. Everything wasn't really authentic. Like
Yeah,
people even in 2019, 2018, people weren't talking about mental health as much as they are now, like
yeah,
post-pandemic. And everything felt like very not orchestrated, but just like, hi guys, like I'm sitting down and this is my day. And then like in reality, I'm, filming that and like crying about something else and posting. So
yeah,
it just really didn't feel authentic for me. I think now I really love the get ready with me videos on TikTok right now. Love that
yes,
era because I just want to like see people do their makeup and like talk about what they're doing in their day. I love Darcy McQueenie. She's like my favorite TikTok creator ever. If she says to buy something, I will literally go to Amazon and buy it. Like I've never been more influenced in my life. But I think just we're kind of moving back to that old school YouTube, like just sit down and talk, less filtered. And I kind of like that because I miss that era of being online.
I do too. I love that so much. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So I guess we'll just kind of transition into post grad, which we both are going through right now. We're at, I guess we're sort of at the same stage, but I feel like I'm a little different because I'm applying to a lot of master programs. I'm a little bit older and I've had well, I don't know, you've worked a little bit too, but I've done a lot of freelancing isn't really the word, but
I
volunteered a
know.
lot, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot more life experience.
Yes.
So I feel like we do have a little bit different perspectives. So tell us sort of how your last year was of college, because I know we've talked about this in private a little bit about kind of feeling like um, you aren't doing what you're supposed to, or what society makes you feel like you're supposed to have by this point in your life. So kind of take us through your last year and your transition from graduating to post grad.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start with senior year. Senior year was a nightmare for me. I felt like everybody else was doing so amazing. I had friends who already had job offers. I had friends who were like applying for grad school, like you said, and just like already knew exactly what they wanted to do. And I ended up extending my graduation because I changed my major. So I was a marketing major up until January. And then I was like, just kidding. I'm tired of commuting to Columbus. I need to do an online program. So I did general business and that added an extra semester. But it was just a super confusing time. And even like going into like August of this year, I was just unwell. Like didn't
Yeah.
know what I wanted to do, didn't know where I was gonna live. That was a big like stress for me, just not knowing where I was going to end up after college. And then my dad ended up taking a job in Vegas, and I was like, obviously, I'm going to move to Vegas. So,
Obviously.
yes, that's taking living my Tana Mojo era out,
Yes.
but that's taken like a lot of stress off of me because I'm not stressed about where I'll be, but it's
Mhm.
more so just finding a job has been so horrible. And I've done some freelance work, I've done some like side gigs and that kind of stuff. And I'm super lucky my parents are like helping me and like getting me through this era because it just hasn't been fun.
Yes.
But it's just like they say I don't have enough experience, and then I try to get experience, and it's like I just need one person to take a chance on me.
Yes.
So that has been very confusing for me. And also just the whole like there's people who have kids my age. Like one of my friends just had a baby last week. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have friends that are having babies and getting engaged and getting married. And so I feel so behind in that sense because all I've cared about is school and my career.
Mhm.
And so personal life, I feel like I'm very behind in that sense.
Yeah. I definitely relate to a lot of that. I
I'm
feel
sure it's
very
worse for you. Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
feel very blessed that I do have opportunities, not just in Georgia, similar to you, and I have places I can live, basically for free
Yeah.
in Dallas, which is a huge booming city.
Yes.
Um, but it's still so stressful, and I'm like very opposite than you because I'm not going in my field that I got my degree in. So most of the work I'm looking for, I've kind of taken some time off and I've had to do like writing and stuff for my graduate programs that I'm applying to in
Mhm.
film. So I'm more so looking for like part-time jobs, things that aren't as hard to get, but I can't even imagine what it must be like,
Yeah.
especially in this environment, the post I was about to say post grad,
Yeah. Too.
post-pandemic slash going towards a recession. I know it's just been so hard on everyone, especially a lot of people were
Yes.
having to get rid of employees. But anyway,
Yes, the layoffs have
um,
been so bad. Like every time I get on LinkedIn, it's just layoff updates.
yeah,
Like that's great.
yeah. So I think I sort of know the answer, but I'll let you explain to us. What sort of are you looking for in your like dream entry level job?
Yes, so I've been applying just for social media roles, social media marketing, some content creation. I'm also really interested in influencer marketing. I would love to run like PR and partnerships for a brand. But there's not so much of that right now. I've noticed there's been like a shift with applications and everything. When I
Mhm.
was applying like in August, there was tons of influencer marketing, and now it's just basic social media. So I don't know if layoffs have had something to do with that, but I would say my dream role, if like location and money and everything wasn't an issue, I would love to do marketing for Cosmopolitan. That's like my
Oh
dream. I would just
wow.
love that.
Yeah.
Maybe one day later on, that can be a future move, but I would really love to work for Cosmopolitan. I just love that magazine. So,
I love that. I love Cosmopolitan too.
yes,
And when I was younger, my dream was to work for that. I don't even is Cosmo part of Condé Nast?
I think I think they're part of Hearst is like the brand.
Hearst. Okay.
They
Yeah,
do
yeah,
all the
yeah.
magazines. Yes.
I I passed like Condé Nast in London has like a fashion school,
Oh my
and
God.
so I passed it when I was like with my friends. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what my dream used to be.
Yeah.
Um, but do you kind of wish? Well, before we move on to the next question, I wanted to say I don't know if you follow her, Tasha. oh gosh, I can't think of her name. I'll have to look it up. But she was doing like a similar influencer marketing. And
Hmm.
like every job she's had, she also has been like the first layoff because so many brands are getting rid of
Like PR.
their PR. Yeah.
That's bad.
Tasha
Let me write it down.
Farsari, Farsakia, Farsaci.
Yes. I will look her up.
Yeah. And I had another thought, but I don't remember what it is now. But okay, I guess I'll just move on to the next question.
No,
Um,
good.
have you learned anything like in your post grad era, which also we haven't been post grad like that long, so um, that you wish you would have done to better prepare or advice people have given you that you wish you could tell others that are in a similar situation?
Yes, so I wrote down a couple things. So,
Okay.
first off, networking is so important. And I know everybody says that, but it really is. And I also recommend finding a mentor. My dad actually had a friend that I ended up speaking with, and she's literally become like my friend slash mentor. She is in her 50s, so she's later in her career, but we're always talking about stuff. She's so current on marketing, and she has helped me a lot with like just guiding me through this time. So if you can find anybody, even if it's a professor or honestly like somebody your parents know, that can just kind of go through things with you, I recommend. I also recommend just getting experience, even if it's for free, which I know that's bad. Like some people can just, I did not do free internships for the most
Mhm.
part. I did some freelancing and stuff for free, but I didn't want to work and do 40-hour internships for free in college. It was during
It's
COVID.
very hard.
Yes. So I focused more on like doing like I worked at a music and dance school and did their social media and was like the receptionist and that was paid. But I just couldn't afford to like do all of that and not have money.
Yeah.
So but if you can, if that is an option, even if you're just like helping a small business or a boutique or something, get as much experience as you can because then when you graduate, you already have like, 8 positions listed that you've done. I
Yeah.
have friends who like didn't even work once throughout college, and so now they're graduating, they don't even know what to put on their resume. So I can imagine that's very overwhelming. And definitely, if you're not on LinkedIn, make sure you have a LinkedIn. Everybody should have LinkedIn, no matter what your profession is or your career or industry. I feel like everybody should have that. So,
Yes, I agree. I had a very, which a lot of people who follow me don't know this, but I was in college for a very long time. I refer to it as my like first era before I really knew what I was doing. I had no experience. And so when I entered the fashion program, they like the first semester, which most of these the people in the program, it's like their second semester of college ever. But for me, I'd been in college on and off for like a year. I mean, a year, a few years. And no one had ever helped me with like LinkedIn, and our program made it part of the curriculum. So that was so helpful.
that's amazing.
And I'm so glad that I had that awakening before I entered the real world and had no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, of
But anyway, those are great tips. Thank you for sharing.
course.
So moving more into marketing, how do you feel brands are using social media? Do you feel like, I know it's definitely increased over the past few years. Do you feel like there's places brands might be lagging? Um, yeah.
Yes, so I will just say that some of my favorite brands are brands that have really great branding,
Mhm.
whether it's like colors or just certain themes or things they do. So I'm thinking of like the Mayfair group on Instagram, love them. I love the Skinny Confidential, just the pink and purple
Yes.
branding. I think Lauren Bostic is like one of the best branders of our generation because
I
she
think she is too.
literally everything she does is so curated and pretty and just great. So I definitely think that more brands need to kind of have their own brand. I see a lot of startups that don't really have like a brand yet. They're just kind of like posting random things. The feed's not coordinated. I follow a girl, I think it's Girl Boss Town on
Yes.
TikTok,
I
and she
love
has
her.
like PR plans and everything. I just saw she got the Forbes 30 under 30, which is awesome or
Oh
something.
my gosh.
Yes. So love her, but she does a lot of like PR stuff for brands and celebrities and everything. But I think branding is most important. I just saw an article about how branding is like the biggest thing for 2023.
Mhm.
And just making sure like if somebody's tagging you in a post, have like a social media person who's like interacting. Because sometimes I tag brands, I like never even get like an interaction. It's like
Yes.
I tag them, you know.
Yeah.
But I think making sure like engagement is up is important.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think that's great. I always love hearing from different people's perspective because I have like very minimal marketing knowledge.
Yes.
But sometimes I see like brands and I'm like, you could be doing so much better if you do
Oh my.
X, Y, and Z.
Yes. And sometimes it's just like the bare minimum. Like some brands
Yeah.
are just, like so established they just don't even care, you know.
Yeah. So how do you feel your view on marketing sort of has changed from the beginning of your college career? I know you've always really wanted to be in marketing. Um, just kind of take us through your journey with that and sort of how you changed to a general business major,
Yes.
per
So
se.
going into college, definitely knew I was going to do marketing. But one thing that I feel like I learned a lot about was social media analytics in college because that just used to terrify me and I don't know why. But I didn't understand it. I took a social media analytics class at CSU, so I learned so much throughout that. But analytics definitely used to scare me. I don't know why. After going through college and everything, it's become one of my favorite topics of marketing. I enjoy it a lot more now. And I would honestly like want to work in that as well, just for a
Mhm.
brand, which is kind of crazy to think of. But I would say overall, I enjoy marketing because I like the creative part of business. I'm not a numbers person. I don't like finance. I don't like sales really. Like I like some sales. Marketing is sales essentially.
Yeah.
But marketing just gave me like a creative aspect to create content and have a more creative side to it, which I love because I just don't really like the technical side. So I recommend marketing to people who are more creative and aren't as good as like at math. Like you still have to take the classes and stuff, but you're not going to be doing it the rest of your life. So,
Yes. Which is similar to people who sort of get fashion degrees. So I
yeah.
really relate to that because not a numbers person.
Yes, and you
And I
wouldn't think,
love the creative side.
oh yeah, and you wouldn't think you'd have to take all these classes. Like I took econ, finance, HR. I'm thinking of like econ, everything. So
Yeah.
it was not fun.
Okay, so sort of transitioning into your content creation era, which is
Yes.
kind of all of it, but um, how did you get into book blogging and TikToking, content creation, and where does that sort of stem from? Have you like always loved that and just kind of took a leap of faith?
Yeah, so my best friend Mariah actually has a bookstagram and she has for years,
Oh,
like since before COVID. And I always followed it. And she would like tell me all this stuff, like, oh, like I'm in this bookstagram group chat and I'm reading. And I just wasn't really reading a lot. So I didn't really like I followed her and liked her stuff, but I didn't follow anybody else. And actually today is my 1 year anniversary on bookstagram. So I was like, that's crazy.
slay!
Yeah, so that is fun, and I have some exciting things coming up with that. But honestly, I didn't know there was like a whole side to Bookstagram and Book Talk and everything. There's a really big marketing and business side to it as well. I'm actually like in the process of working with some authors and helping them with social media. So I don't think a lot of people know that, but I just started like posting books I was reading, slowly got into the indie romance, like spicy romance, spicy book talk. And it's just like so fun to read. I love the books truly. Some of them are like kind of low-key embarrassing. Like I hope nobody looks up my Goodreads after this, but some of them are really funny, and it's just enjoyable to talk to people about them. And I just had no idea there was like this whole space. So really just like I do a lot of book content and it's grown a lot this year. Like my bookstagram grew more this year than like Grown Up Girl Life did in like 4 years. So
That's crazy.
I have no idea why or how or whatever. I try to follow everybody back on there, but um there's like a huge side to that that people don't know about.
Okay, so with what you just said, do you
Yes.
like making book content rather than your previous work in like just regular blogging?
Yes, and I feel like when you kind of have a specific niche and I know I have so many accounts. People are like, "Allie, like, can you just pick one?" But like my main Instagram is more like my music and my vinyl and that kind of stuff. And then I have, like my little content creation, marketing Instagram and have my book Instagram. I just like to keep things separate, and I find that I do better when things are separate because I don't like to mesh everything into one. That's a really
Yes.
popular take, though. I feel like most people are just doing like one and having everything on there, but I like to have everything
I
separate.
agree. I feel like we're the same way in that because a lot of people, very popular YouTubers or influencers, whatever, have gone from having two separate channels. I'm thinking when I'm talking about this,
Like vlog.
like Tara
Oh,
Michelle having like a vlog channel, and now she
yes.
just posts it all on her main. But I'm like you, I still do have, I guess, like three different Instagrams, one for my podcast, one what when I was a blogger era was my
Yes.
blog, and now it's a photography podcast, photography, Instagram, and then my regular one, which I still kind of
Mhm.
share everything on.
Yeah.
But I do kind of miss how I had it so separate. So I just had like my regular one for funsies. And I do kind of regret going back to one in that aspect. But yeah, anyway.
Yes. A
um,
creator that I feel like does that really well is Kinsey Elizabeth because she has like a
yes.
podcast, her main one. She has a Bookstagram one now. She posts book reviews on there, but I feel like she does like a really good job of kind of narrowing everything down.
Yes. So do you have advice for those that are interested in doing sort of bookstagram and book talk?
Yes, I would say do start posting, start creating relationships with authors. If you're going to really want to be successful, I recommend like reading smaller authors, more indie romance, and you'll naturally grow like as long as you're creating fun content. I know with book talk, like reels and videos are really big on book talk and bookstagram, but literally like every single time you post, like make an aesthetic video or do a book review or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And also just connect with people because I feel like for the first month I was on there, I didn't talk to anyone. And now I have friends on there that I talk to like almost every day. So that's kind of like weird. I'm like, what are you reading today? Just like connecting with other people has been really fun on there.
And that's what I love about social media so much is I think, when we were, well, I'm a few years older, but I feel like it's kind of the same era. But when we were younger, our parents were always like, "Don't talk to strangers on the internet," etc. And now it's like I've met some of my greatest friends
Yes.
and have so many different community, like you said, like Kinsey Elizabeth. I'm a part of her Geneva and her Facebook groups that I've
Yes.
met a lot of people in. We had Gals on the Go at one point. It's kind of they don't have it
That
anymore.
Facebook group is so funny.
um, and really just like all the popular podcasts have all these subgroups where you can just meet and talk about very specific niches, which is just the power of social media, and I love.
Yes. My mom just said this morning, she was like, how do you know Elizabeth? I was trying to think back. I was like, I think I commented in a group, like, I'm blogging and
Yeah,
I'm like, want to follow, and then you followed me and we just like, we were both from Georgia and stuff. I was like, we've never even met. So that's, crazy.
yeah, we are back. And to everyone listening, if you can hear my computer going into blast off, I'm really sorry. I don't know.
Yes,
She
I
just
hate it when it starts like overheating and it's just like a machine. That's so funny.
it's so bad. Okay, so uh sort of jumping back in, we took a little break, guys, but I'm really interested for this conversation with you. How do you feel the state of influencing influencing sort of is now and the future of it? I know there's a lot of people who feel like YouTube is on the outs and TikTok, Reels, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. So I definitely feel like TikTok is like the future
Dang.
uh content creation, people don't have the attention spans like they used to. I personally still love long form content. I like YouTube, like podcasts, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
But I would say on the average day, I'm not sitting like with Vlogmas right now. I feel like so many people are doing it again. I cannot watch like 50 people do Vlogmas.
I
So
know.
I like that some people are doing it on TikTok because I could just see like their day in like 1 or 3 minutes instead of like, 40 minutes each. So I definitely think TikTok is big right now. As far as like influencers, I feel like a lot of people have lost trust with influencers. Some brand deals are just not seeming as authentic as they used to be. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and maturing, and it's like I'm not as easily influenced with some things, especially like brand deals. It's just, I mean, I can't think of the last time I heard a brand deal and like went to the website and like put in a code and was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's been years probably. So I'm not as easily influenced in that way. I more like the hauls. I like the Amazon influencer stuff. I like going to somebody's storefront and just looking at like the top picks and that kind of stuff. I think
Mhm.
that's really big right now, but not so much like, use my code for Sitbird or like whatever. I think
Yeah.
people are just like not trusting because they know they're getting so much money from it. Maybe that's because people are more open about it, but I definitely think that has shifted. Like people just really don't. And I honestly, like I just scroll past ads half the time because I'm just like, as long as they're getting paid, I'm enjoying the content. It's a mutual thing. But
Yeah.
definitely not loving it as much as I used to.
Yeah. I know, I was watching the Shane Dawson documentary of, uh, I was about to say Jason Starr. Jeffree Star. And I know that's a very hot topic,
Yeah,
with their cancellations and stuff. But what I don't want to really talk about that. I want to talk about Jeffree Star quitting YouTube.
yeah.
And for me, for me, it's super crazy to me that these long, long time YouTube, whether you like them or not, they've made a huge influence over time, like a decade or more, are stepping back from it. Do you feel like we're going to see this as a trend as more and more people are moving to short form content versus long?
Yes, I actually just saw Jeffree Star on my For You page the other day doing a review. And listen, I know Jeffrey's controversial. I know he's done some things, but I trusted his reviews more
Yes.
than anything. Like if he said not to get a palette, was not getting it.
Yes.
And I think he honestly like really shed light, him and Jane, in the old documentary about the makeup palette.
Yes.
Like they really expose a lot of brands. Like you're producing a palette for $4 and charging like 100. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of OG YouTubers, like didn't Jenna, is it Jenna Marbles?
Yes. She
She,
left.
yeah, she left. Like, I don't even know what she's up to. I still I follow Trisha on TikTok. Love her TikToks. Almost like a comedy aspect, y'all. I don't like actually stand Trisha anymore, but yeah, I mean, I feel like she's done really well with kind of navigating TikTok because I think she has more followers on TikTok than YouTube now. So
Wow.
she has
That's
like
crazy.
I thought she had like over 5 last time I checked. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely see a shift in that. Like a lot of people that were on there, and honestly, it might be because they started a lot earlier than a lot of us did. Like
Yeah.
I can imagine starting something when I was like, 10 years old and then still doing it now. So
Yeah. People change, things change.
very
And I think Alicia Marie has done a really good job at her longevity of her career and sort of that niche of girls like
yeah.
Laura DIY, all of those. Which those are some of my favorites. But anyway.
I feel like
um,
her and Remy have done like the best out of the
yes,
group.
yes. So we've talked about this before, but I want to know if your thoughts have changed since the last time we spoke on cancel culture and people sort of changing their minds,
Yes.
um, and how you kind of feel about it.
Yes. So I was actually listening a couple weeks ago. I was going back on the Skinny Confidential, and they had Dom Roberts on, like, back in
One
2020.
of my favorite episodes. I know
I
exactly which one you're talking about.
I love Dom. She was talking about accountability culture and how that should
Mhm.
be higher than cancel culture.
Exactly, yeah.
I think she did a really good job. I feel like everybody should listen to that episode with her. Obviously, there are some creators who just do like absolutely unforgivable, just horrible things. Kanye West is coming to mind, you know. It's honestly like a pattern. He's continuously doing this. He's not learning
Yeah.
anything. There's no growth there. So I understand canceling somebody like Kanye West. Um,
Yes.
I think there's, I honestly look at things like from a mental health standpoint. I couldn't imagine being a creator and like making one mistake and my whole career and life being changed. And I think we need to have like forgiveness and empathy for people, which is something that Dawn talked about a lot on the episode. And not really like, I mean, obviously, I feel like everything's very situational. Sometimes it is necessary and it depends on the thing they do and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But I just feel so bad for some people. And honestly, like she said in that episode 2 years ago, people are getting so offended by every single thing now. So the things that truly should be like, that should be offended, you should be offended by them. They're not even like taking up that much weight anymore because people are just so offended every single day.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend listening to that podcast episode, everyone, if you haven't. But those are just kind of my thoughts on it.
I agree a lot. I feel like, I sort of, which is just like a really weird way to look at it, but I sort of think about, because I grew up in the church, I was
Yeah.
very involved. And so I have been in situations where I have seen leaders held, not even leaders, but like people who are involved with the church, held to like this perfection standard. And that's just sort of not what being a Christian is about. And so I think about anytime like that's ever happened and how the community reacts to that. And it makes me think of cancel culture because it's very similar, and how we should really just be more empathetic and understand that no, there's no perfect person, and that we're all going to make mistakes. But if a person is like you said, like Kanye West or something like that,
Yeah.
and we keep seeing this continuous pattern, that maybe there's a little more something else out there.
Yes.
And I think accountability is so important.
Yeah,
So
it's kinda like that quote, like, "Forgive yourself for when you didn't know better. When you know
yes,
better, do better," because,
yes.
like, if you know something's wrong, don't keep doing it, and, like, you know,
I
so
think, that's a Maya Angelou, and I say it all the
yes,
time.
it is.
And when, my parents will, like, be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that," or whatever, I'm like, "When you know better, do better."
Yes, it's a very good quote, and I think growth is so important because I'm not
Yeah.
even the same person I was in, like, 2019. Like, I feel
I
like I've
know.
I've grown so much, my views have changed so much. I always hear, college makes you liberal or whatever. I don't think
Yeah.
it's really the case. I think people leave certain groups, whether it be like a church or a family or, university, and then they get out into the world and like they completely change their mind. And I think that
Yeah.
should be like more normalized.
Yes, definitely. What was I gonna say? I love when my brain stops working. That's fun. Moving on.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's just important to know, especially, I mean, I look back and I know like things I've done in my past that I'm not proud of. And if you don't give yourself grace, how are you gonna give other people grace?
That's very
That we're all human and we just mess up sometimes.
That's very true. And I mean, like I said, I feel like my whole life view on everything, like politics, life, religion, everything is the complete opposite of when I was like a teen.
Yeah.
And it's not really so much like college change you. It's just, you learn more, you grow, you stop listening to people. Like I
Yeah.
don't go along with everything. My parents, I get in debates with them all the time, like my whole family.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm the drama at Thanksgiving. So it's like I'm just gonna be that person. So
Okay, so we're almost done, but I did want to touch on which clearly we've talked a lot about this, but how have your dreams and what you really want out of life changed over the past few years?
That's a great question. And like I was saying, I've changed so much. I feel like I've matured in a lot of ways. I just don't really I feel like I've become a more family person. Like
Hmm.
I've gotten closer with my parents. I've lost a lot of family. Even like my aunt who lived in Columbus, she passed away this year.
Hmm.
So just kind of like realizing that my parents are really all I have, and I don't need to always like be, annoying sometimes with them, and I just need to like have patience, whatever. But I would feel that the whole like move to New York City, that whole dream has kind of changed for me just because I want to be geographically close to my parents. I don't want to be on the other side of the country at this point in my life.
Hmm.
But I also just feel like my career, like I'm more not like tame, but I'm just not as like money hungry as I used to be. It was like I want
Hmm.
to move to New York, I want to get rich, I want to have this and that. And now I'm just more like relaxed and chill. It's not that deep, nothing's
Yeah.
ever deep. I feel like we all kind of have these dreams when we're younger and then like we go into real life and that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
Some people like those dreams come true, but definitely day-to-day stuff, I feel like it's totally different for me. So I
Yeah.
really want to like prioritize my health and my wellness. I've been on like a mental health journey since I was 12 years old. So really just focusing on that and not being like so invested in work and career stuff is kind of important to me.
Yeah. And I love what you said. My dad always says, which is this is what I always think whenever I'm talking about sort of change and like changing your mind on things that maybe you once believed in or not. And he just always talks about me because he sees my vision boards and he's like, you don't have to. And I'm like, I know.
That's
And
nice.
and he just always reminds me that it's gonna change over time as you get older, and kind of talks about how when he was like 25, he wanted this, and when he was like 35, he wanted a family, and it's
Yeah,
just gonna continue to change and get better for us as we move on in life. But
that's
yeah,
so true. I mean, even I feel like my like thoughts and views on marriage and like kids. Like I don't really know if I want kids. Like I don't
yeah,
know if I want to be a
yeah,
mom. I might just want to be the fun rich aunt to my brother's kids.
yeah,
So even like my views on that, also just like on religion has totally
mhm,
changed. Kind of like left church.
yeah,
It's kind of controversial, but with some people, I just don't really feel that like I identify with certain parts of church,
mhm,
especially like here in my hometown. I'm
yeah,
more of, like a spiritual person. I do still believe in God. I believe in like basic principles of some parts of Christianity, but that's changed a lot. Even like I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I was like very involved in church and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And I just don't really feel that way.
yeah.
So like that's changed as well.
That's awesome. So tell us some of your short and long-term goals.
Yes. Okay, so I wrote a couple down because I
Yay!
forget things. Short-term goals, definitely want to prioritize my health this year. I've had a lot of PCOS symptoms and just kind of like going through that. It takes a lot to actually get a diagnosis for that and get a doctor to like listen to you and all of that stuff. So definitely just like mental health, physical. I just want to like feel better. I feel like this year took a big toll on my physical and mental health, and just need to like chill out, you know, help with some stress and definitely focus on that. And I also want to kind of start freelancing seriously, especially with like having trouble finding a job. I
Mhm.
just feel like I would do well freelancing, but I want to make it sustainable. I don't want to just like kind of halfway do it. I want to like actually full on freelance, have side gigs. And then long-term goals, I'm excited to move to Vegas.
Yeah.
Looking like at May, June. We're waiting until my brother graduates. So originally I was just gonna move out there like right after graduation. But then I was like, hold up, that's not gonna happen. So nobody talks about how expensive moving is.
So
And
expensive.
so ridiculous. So I figured it would just be easier to move with my family because it's more cost effective, So I want to make friends in Vegas. I want to have a good friend group. I feel like I just have two best friends and they're both about to move. Like one's in Denver, one's about to go to grad school. I also just really want to make a difference in people's lives, and I don't know how to really do that and the intended career I want to go into. But even if it's like online or even if it's like recruiting or freelancing, just helping people find jobs, that kind of stuff I'd love to do. And I want to feel comfortable sharing stuff online again. I feel like I definitely get in my head about who's watching, who's listening. You know, I get so nervous every time I post something. And I was talking to my mom about that, and she was like, "You really shouldn't care, like,
Yeah.
that people think of you, whatever." I think moving away from my hometown again will kind of ease some of that anxiety. But right now, it's like every time I go to post, it's like, oh, is this person gonna see this? And I don't know why I feel that way. So
I relate to that so much. I used to struggle a lot with that. I mean, clearly I had a YouTube camera for like
yeah,
probably 4 years before I started vlogging, and I struggled so bad with it. But I when I got back into therapy, I realized, okay, well, we're all gonna die one day, and
yes,
no one cares about you as much as you care about you or the way you're being perceived. And
yes,
so I'm so grateful that I'm sort of over that. And not to say that there have not been like awkward experiences or exchanges in public with people I know that see my things. They're like, what is that? What are you doing that for? And what is
yeah.
that for? And
I
even
feel
like
like
family
it's
that just
definitely like a
don't,
small town
yeah,
thing because it's like, what are is this person gonna see it? Like, do they think I'm like trying to be an influencer? Or are they like laughing at me? Definitely going through that. Honestly, there were just some girls that were like so mean to me in high school. And I feel like if they were mean to me now, they would definitely be mean, or if they were mean to me then, they would definitely be mean to me now. So I just don't know why I feel that way. I feel like that's like, I feel like most people feel that way. I ended up like deleting my main TikTok like a couple weeks ago because every time I would post, I had like profile views turned on, and I saw people from high school that followed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this person follows me. So I was like, we need a fresh start, delete everything, rearrange because we don't need that.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
that's awesome. I am so grateful that you took the time to talk to us today.
Thank
Tell us
you.
where we can find you online and LinkedIn, etc., whatever you really want to
Yes.
share.
LinkedIn is just Allie White. My Instagrams are Allie Mary White is like my main one. I'm trying to get back into posting on there. And then my bookstagram is Reading with Al. And then I also have like my Pinterest, I think it's Allie in Wonderland with two D's. And I'll give you all the links and everything for the show notes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.